It has been almost 2 weeks now that farmers, primarily from the state of Punjab, began protesting around the national capital. It is easy to forget what this agitation actually represents, and amongst the thinly veiled attempts at politicizing the agitation, the concerns of farmers have become increasingly blurred. Namaste India and welcome to another episode of New India Junction. I'm Nivedita Tiwari and here's our take on how the new agricultural reforms are related to an average Indian citizen. A lot has been said and explained about the futuristic nature of the three reforms that were introduced for the agricultural sector. However, quite unexplainably, these reforms have faced their fair share of opposition, beginning from the halls of our esteemed parliament. Following massive political rallies across Punjab that revolved around opposing these very laws, a rail roko andolan and thousands of crores in resultant industrial losses, the agitation around the national capital seems to be the culmination. Over the last month, we have tried to explain what these new laws are and how they will go about changing the lives of farmers. We've also reported the bizarre and almost confused scenes resulting due to different factions at the protests. The entire debacle, which has now seen over 6 rounds of deliberations between the government and representatives of farmer unions and multiple drafts of proposed amendments, is actually centered around some very basic provisions brought forth with these new laws. But a question that a vast majority of seemingly pro-farmer sympathizers are unable to answer is, how do these laws relate to the general public? Well, this is how. Given the wonderful winters that have now set in, I'm sure you couldn't wait to try some fresh and juicy apples from Himachal Pradesh. At the local grocer, these apples, brought all the way from the mountainous Kinnaur district, go for Rs 200 a kg. But this, if you ask your local grocer, is a bargain. Kinnaur lies on the India-China border. The harsh winters, coupled with a relatively dry terrain and high altitude, make it a tough spot for survival. But throughout the district, there are several pockets of vegetation around streams. These very pockets that often double up as apple orchards are tirelessly cared for and cultivated by entire households throughout the year. Due to the extreme weather, the problems of altitude and almost no mechanization owing to the terrain, everyone in the family contributes to ensure a good harvest. After every harvest, the farmer painstakingly takes his produce all the way to the nearest commission agent. But lo and behold, he is informed of a bumper harvest this season. And regardless of his hard labor, the apples will only go at a maximum of 50 rupees a kg, as the agent will have to take care of the packaging, shipping to the rest of India, and pay a number of taxes. Imagine the shock and disbelief of that small-scale farmer who had cultivated his prize apples for almost a year. But now he has no choice. There are school fees that need to be deposited, winter supplies to be purchased, and new fertilizer that has to be procured. But he has no choice. The apples are the only commodity he has. And the agent is, unfortunately, the only person he can sell it to. So he unloads his produce, takes the meager settlement, and offers his prayers to God. Maybe next season, he thinks. The commission agent now neatly bags and wraps the apples, contacts his clients and ships the apples further south. The deal he makes at Rs 180 a kg. These apples are then gently stacked in small piles until you chance upon them and buy them at 200 rupees a kg. If we look at this process in retrospect, the consumer is unhappy because they have to pay an exquisite sum, and the farmer who grew the apple is unhappy as he received a very small compensation for his hard work. The question that remains is, of course, where did the money go? Now, the first law, namely the Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill, allows the farmer the benefit of choice. It does away with the necessity of selling his produce to a licensed agent. A simple arrangement with, say, a Mumbai-based company marketing organic produce takes care of shipping and packaging. The farmer sells his apples at 120 rupees a kg and the consumer buys it for 150 rupees a kg. In addition, the company's CSR program brings in computers and digital learning platforms for the local schools, as well as solar-powered street lights for the farmer's village. Smiles all around, but the agent is very unhappy. Now, through extensive surveys, the company selling organic products learns that larger-sized apples with less seeds are in exceptionally high demand and are needed in large quantities if the demand is to be adequately met. The company reaches out to the farmer and with the help of the panchayat gathers the owners of all neighboring farms. They explain to the farmers the high demand for the particular apple variety and propose an arrangement that will bring modern techniques like drip irrigation, soil quality checks and modern harvesting machines that will be taken care of by the company. The farmers need only grow their apples and care for them. For the next 2 years, the farmers will get an assured price as per the contract. If the terms are not acceptable, the farmers can continue to supply apples like they did before. The company further agrees to demarcate 10% of profits towards CSR and developing nearby areas for agriculture. Arrangements such as these, previously seldom heard of, will be possible through the second law, the Farmers' Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill. Of course, the farmers agree and there are smiles all around, but the agent is unhappier still. Finally, with the income slab in the region significantly increased, another company develops a cold storage facility in Kinnor. The operation costs are low and due to the high demand for commodities like pulses, oilseed, edible oils, onion and potatoes, little needs to be done for marketing. The new cold storage also enables other farmers from the region to store their produce while simultaneously allowing them to cultivate different crops. Owners of apple orchards can now easily obtain their supplies at a lowered cost because the cold storage is close by. The days when the farmer and his family had limited options to cook owing to the harsh climate of the region or the high price of these items such as pulses, corn and many other grains seem like the distant past. This is precisely why the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill was passed. There are smiles all around, not just farmers, but the entire population is extremely happy. This just becomes too much for the unhappy agent. The agents now tell the farmers that the contract is a means to trick them, that the government will stop subsidies and most importantly, there will be no price assurance offered by the government. That very farmer, the simple and trusting man that he is, believes the agents and then begins to rethink the bill. Soon enough, he hears that there is a protest happening and on repeated prompts by the agents agrees to join it. The next step? Block the roads in Delhi. The agent is now extremely happy, but the unknowing farmer definitely isn't. Over the last few days, this is exactly what seems to be happening. Unaware farmers have been misinformed and brought to New Delhi. Several camps chanting seditious pro-Khalistan slogans have propped up and now almost 15 different political parties have started using this platform to peddle their own anti-institution agendas. Only to gain more political attention, farmer unions, led by the affluent commission agents, are threatening to partially or completely block highways into New Delhi. The risk of this protest becoming another site for a super spreader of COVID-19 looms large. But all this does not bother the same agents who had, until these laws, thrived off the hard work of the nation's farmers. It is now imperative that we answer the following questions. Why must general happiness be sacrificed to maintain the near illegitimate income of the middlemen? Why shouldn't the consumer and the producer receive the benefits intended for them? And why must hard-working farmers be denied the means to secure their own future? Keep watching NIJ for more insightful videos. Stay safe and stay healthy. Namaste.